Hey everybody, my name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays for this, the first day of August in the year 2023 of the Common Era. How is everybody doing today? I am very excited that the weather has broken, and today is at least for today. I don't know for how much longer. At least for today, the temperature is a little lower. The humidity is significantly lower than it's been in the past couple of weeks. So there you go. We are going to start off today with a song that I've been eager to get back under my fingers, and I think this might turn out okay. We are also here, of course, to play the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. Oh, I see Margot over there in the chat. If I can possibly prevent my computer from crashing. Ah, there we are. Oh, that's okay. Hello, thank you, Margot, for letting me know that you can see and hear me. I am always grateful for that. And it's not a problem at all. I hope that Peace Camp went well last week. And if you'd like to talk more about Peace Camp in the chat there, I'd be happy to repeat some of that on the audio for folks who might be watching on another platform or watching it later when you don't have the chat. Well, anyway, point is, hi. We are, of course, in a few minutes going to play the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game, so let me tell you how that works. Let you know how that works. People who are live online with us will give me a song request, a song suggestion, and I will have to play that song regardless of whether I know it. See, so if someone requests a song that I do happen to know, or at least I have known in the recent past, I will attempt to perform it to the best of my recollection. If someone requests a song that I kind of sort of know, like I may never have actually played it before, or maybe I knew how to play it 25 years ago, but I haven't played it in a really long time. Maybe I've seen somebody else play it at open mic or whatever. I will then attempt to figure out how to play that song right here in front of everyone. If someone requests a song I do not recognize at all, I will have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. That is, now is a great time for you to get in your requests for the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game, because it usually takes a few moments between when the comment leaves your device and slips through the ether and arrives on my screen. So now is a great time to get those in early. Marco says, Peace Camp did go well. We'll say that my forehead is cut off. My forehead's cut off. All right. Well, I can scooch down a little bit. I think I'm feeling okay about how I'm framed. I might just scooch it up a little bit. There we are. I'm okay with that. I do want to be very near the top of the frame. I feel like leaving a lot of space just makes it feel a little weird. In any case, yes. So we are going to we're going to lead off today with "Everybody Wants to Rule the World." Folks who are familiar with the Brain from Pinky and the Brain from Animaniacs may have already figured out that was the way where I was going with today's show, based on the thumbnail and the promo image that I had out. And so, Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. This was one when I was saying, okay, I'm going to do the next several shows. I'm going to be leading off with songs that of my choosing, songs that I really like. This was one of the first ones that came to mind, but I also didn't want to start off with it because I felt like I needed a little more work. Ironically, I've spent very little time actually rehearsing it, but in the intervening weeks, I've spent a lot more time playing guitar generally, which has made it easier to pick things up again. And also in the past 24 hours or so, weirdly, I've spent a decent amount of time rehearsing the song in my head, which is kind of weird, but it turns out that visualizing different parts of it... Narf, yes, that's right. That's what Pinky says, by the way. Or, no, but he, and then he started saying something else, which was Narf, but backwards. Anyway. For those of us of a certain age, Pinky and the Brain was a big thing. Anyway, so yes, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Tears for Fears. Let's see how this goes how effective the visualizing actually was. Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears. Not terrible. Not terrible. I also see tremendous Jif-popped laser popcorn. Okay, great. So yes, there you go. There was a couple rough spots in there that I kind of lost my focus a little bit in the middle when there was a small flub, and then I was a little bit too far inside my head. But overall, not bad. One of the things that my arrangement of that particular song has been. Thank you, Margot. Thank you for indicating that you are clapping. One of the. I was saying. So yeah. So it's been that's my version of that has evolved considerably over a period of years as I was trying to figure. I knew I definitely wanted to do the song, and I felt like the vocal range for the song would suit me really, really well. I've also these past couple of years kind of been re-exploring new wave. It was something that was on some of the radio stations that I was listening to as in my formative teenage years as part of the mix for alternative rock. They would have some stuff from the 80s like that. And the idea of how to recreate some of those new wave ideas but with acoustic instruments is something that's been intriguing to me. With that particular song, so first off, realizing that although the main riff is sort of an A and a G chord, that D kind of resonates through the whole song, and so the idea of actually tuning the guitar to drop D, so this is always there. I'm using that as sort of a drone through the whole thing. That sort of was the first piece that came to mind. Later, realizing that I could more effectively do that riff if I actually had the triplets as part of the beat and sort of go through the whole song, and then actually recording that into the loop was really, really useful. And then furthermore, when I upgraded my loop pedal several years ago and added an undo button, which means that I can add stuff to the loop. Well, first off, it gives me a chance to fix stuff if I record it and it's a little weird, and I'm getting a little bit better about doing that surreptitiously so it's less noticeable, like, oh wait, I screwed that up, I need to go back and do it. It also means the undo button also works as a redo button, so I can record a loop, take it off, and then put it back on, which allows me to do other sorts of neat things, which is kind of cool. So yeah, so little bits about that particular song. There's not. I wasn't able to find nearly the same sort of history for this particular song as I was for Country Roads last week. But a few things that I didn't know, which I'll share for you. Tears for Fears primarily focuses on two individuals, Roland Orzabal and Kurt Smith. Grew up in England, were friends as teenagers, were in a band or two together, and in the early 80s decided they wanted to, the idea of a duo fronting a new wave band was sort of a thing that was happening, so like, all right, that's what we're going to do. They did eventually sort of flesh out the band, but it still has focused primarily on the two of them. So the band started in or around 1981. They had put out a couple of singles, but one of their earliest hits, I think maybe was their third single or so, the song Mad World. These days, most people know the song Mad World from the version that was produced more than 15 years later. That's the Gary Jules and Michael Anders, I think. Can't read my own writing. Gary Jules recorded a new version of Mad World for the 2001 film Donnie Darko. That song became very, very popular and is the main version people know today. But in fact, it was a new wave song back in 1983, part of the album The Hurting from Tears for Fears. Subsequently, 2 years later, they put out an album called Songs from the Big Chair in 1985. That included the singles Shout, which a lot of people know, as well as Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which went on to basically be probably their biggest hit, certainly one of the ones that they're best known for. Orzabal wrote the Everybody Wants to Rule the World along with Ian Stanley, who is the keyboard player for Tears for Fears for quite a long time, as well as Chris Hughes, who was the producer for the Songs from the Big Chair album. Interestingly, I was interested by this anyway. Orzabal is a guitar player. Kurt Smith of Tears for Fears was the bass player is the bass player for Tears for Fears. He's the vocalist on this particular song, although he was not the songwriter. He's the vocalist on this particular song. And he, whenever I've seen a version, I've been looking for live versions of this performance. Usually he's just singing. Kurt Smith is just singing. He's not playing the bass. Presumably, whatever bass is happening is through the keys or something else, or else there's another track that's part of it. Interestingly, the band Tears for Fears, Kurt Smith and Roland Orzabal split rather acrimoniously in 1991 for reasons that probably just involve lots of fame, lots of travel, and lots of stress. They happened to be in the same place at the same time in 2000. There was some routine paperwork they had to file, and Kurt needed to sign something or other because Roland had signed something on his behalf. They met up for dinner. They're like, yeah, we should make an album again. So they did then come up with an album called Everyone Loves a Happy Ending, or Everybody Loves a Happy Ending, which I think is actually kind of nice. And they've continued to be on good terms and touring and do cool stuff. I will include a link in the description, not only to the music video from Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which was a very popular one on MTV, from what I understand. I was not watching MTV at the time. I was quite young. But also a live performance from them in a studio somewhere, doing a live performance of it in 2022, which is also really good. It sounds very much like the original, despite quite a lot of time having passed. So there you go. Tears for Fears. Lots of cool, interesting things about that. All right, so Margot I believe, has passed along some additional information about Peace Camp, possibly. Let's see. It is Young People Making Peace Summer Day Camp, or Peace Camp for short, is a 5-morning camp for elementary and middle schoolers focused on peace and justice. It is a lot of fun. That is great, Margot. Thanks for sharing that. I assume that is with LePoco, which is an organization that has been been around here in the Lehigh Valley for quite a long time, advocating for peace and justice. You should definitely check that out. Margot, if you'd like to throw a link in the chat where people can learn more about LePoco. Cool. We are now moving on to the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game portion of the program. So let me, in case you missed the top of the show, refresh your memory how that works. People are going to give me a song request. I'm going to have to respond to it regardless of whether I know the song. So people might request a song that I do know, or at least have known recently, in which case I will attempt to perform it to the best of my recollection. If someone requests a song that I sort of know, like I've heard it before, but I've never actually tried to play it, I will then attempt to figure out how to play that song here in front of everyone. If someone requests a song that I do not recognize at all, I will have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. I believe Margot already has a request in there, but it just occurred to me I also wanted to mention, before I forget, here in this talking portion here in the middle, Musikfest. Musikfest starts this weekend. Musikfest is one of, if not the largest, free music festivals in the United States. It is quite large. It covers a very, very large area. Did I mention that it's free? The performers do get paid because there is, a lot of corporate sponsorship, as well as the food and drink that you buy from the wonderful, wonderful street food vendors who come in and take over the area. That also helps to pay for the music, as well as, of course, there are some ticketed headline shows as well. I do appreciate that there has been a specific effort to make sure that local performers from here in the Lehigh Valley are included as a significant portion of the performers who are on the free stages at Musikfest. I'm excited to see a whole bunch of people that I haven't had a chance to see recently. As some folks and there also are a lot of sort of indie and unsigned performers who do cool stuff, who are just out and working to build a name for themselves by doing festivals all over the place. one of my favorite ways to experience Musikfest is not even to go with a specific plan in mind. Just like, I'm just going to wander around and see what strikes my ear. And you can encounter a lot of really, really cool stuff. So, yay Musikfest. Go especially support the local performers who are going to be on all of those stages. All right, so now back to the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game. Let's see what the requests are. Let's see. Peace Camp is usually the last full week in July. Thank you, Margot. Let's see. Other information here. We've got Mark. For Stump-the-Band, one of our favorite Peace Camp songs, We Are All a Family Under One Sky. I can't remember who performs it. Maybe John McCutcheon. Let's see. So if there's any, that is the request. We are all a family under one sky. Yeah, it does sound like it could be John McCutcheon. I think I've heard. Margot, you might know this better than I. I wonder if I think John McCutcheon might have been the one who recorded the song that was used in the United States Postal Service ad like 10 years ago. I'm gonna wrap myself in paper, I'm gonna dot myself with glue, I'm gonna and I'm gonna mail myself to you. It's a very cute little folk song. I have no idea if that's in fact has any relevance because it may not even be John McCutcheon, and John McCutcheon may not even have been the one who recorded We're All a Family Under One Sky. But we'll see. After the show, I will do a little more research and I'll find out who the actual songwriter for that particular song is. I don't know that I may not have said this explicitly. I do not know this song. I do not know the song We Are All One Family Under One Sky, Under the Same Sky. Oh, yes! Oh, that's a really good thought, too. I should fill that in. We're all a family under one sky. A family, one sky. I'm going to try to remember that. Mark had just put in a really, really good, very timely suggestion for Tequila. Because, as folks may have heard, Paul Reubens, of course best known for his portrayal of Pee-wee Herman, just died. The word came out, I think, yesterday. So yes, we definitely need to fit that in as well. Let's see, a second Stump-the-Band or just a Pee-wee tribute. Yes, John McCutcheon does I'm Going to Mail Myself to You, but it might have been written by Woody Guthrie. That's yeah, okay. So we'll have to look up on that. All right. So first we're going to do some sort of a folky song about we are all a family under one sky. Did I get that right? We're all a family under one sky. And then we'll try to do Tequila in honor of the late great Paul Reubens. We are all a family under one sky. How am I gonna? I usually will try not to do just the first chords that come to mind, but I think for a folk song, this is a sort of a, I'm going to imagine this is a sort of a song that people sing around a campfire, that has a lot of repetition. So doing something very, very simple, and that sounds a lot like a lot of other songs, it's going to be just fine. So yes, so it's going to be something like, we're all a family under one sky. all a family under one sky. We're all a family under one sky. And then there's a bit at the end that's going to repeat every verse. So what am I going to say? It could be something simple like we're all going to get along. It's time we learn to get along. That's not bad. It's time we learn to get along. Okay, yeah, I think this will work. I think I have basically everything I need. Before I do that, because I'm going to get distracted and I'm going to get in the flow of the music, and I'm going to forget to think that I need to come up with new verses. All right, so we're all a family under one sky. It's time we learn to get along. And then the bit that keeps coming back to is it's time we learn to get along. Okay. And then we'll say... all right. I think I have enough. So here we go. We're all a family under one sky. We learn to get along. Brothers and sisters on this one earth. Brothers and sisters on this one earth. We're all brothers and sisters on this one earth. It's time we learn to get along. All races and creeds in this one land. All races and creeds in this one land. All races and creeds in this one land. And that's time we learn to get along. There you go. If that is not the song you had in mind, you're welcome to it for next year's Peace Camp. There you go. That is my version of a song called "We Are All a Family Under One Sky." If I remembered the remember the title of the song correctly. Oh, I know exactly what I need for our second round of the Not for Coltrane Stump-the-Band game, which is the song Tequila, in honor of the recently taken from us Paul Reubens. In the spirit of Pee-wee, Margot, I am curious as to how close I was in if any of the stuff that I did had any similarity or commonality with the song that you actually had in mind. I feel reasonably confident that there was some commonality, but I don't know. We'll see. So this seems like the appropriate instrument for a Pee-wee tribute. Let's see. It was. Needs to be higher than that so I can actually play it. Take it back down. So then the other part. Theme was close, details were different. All right. G. Okay, all right. That doesn't sound right at all. So I think those pieces just are not in the same key. spent enough time with me trying to figure out chords and how they fit together, I don't think this is quite right. I think it will be close enough that it will be recognizable. Alright, so our turns out Ruth Pelham wrote and performed Under One Sky, aka We're All a Family Under One Sky, which is the first line. Alright, well there you go. Thank you, Margo. That'll make it easier for me to find the actual thing. Speaking of not the actual thing, here we go. Our tribute to Pee-wee Herman. Oh, right, I was going to do some... Tequila. I will look up the actual chords moments from now. But there you go. Thanks very much for that request for Tequila. That is not how you actually play Tequila, but I do like the idea of working up a version of that with the kazoo. So there you go. Thanks very much to both Rex and who was it? Rex and Mark for their request for Tequila as a tribute to Paul Reubens of Pee-wee Herman fame. Thanks also very much to Margo for her request for We Are All a Family Under One Sky. Turns out Under One Sky is the actual name of the song. And thanks for everyone who's been hanging out and watching and got to check out my version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I think that's about everything. Oh yes, there you go. Raise the glass. Thanks very much for hanging out. Please check out Musikfest, because there's lots of cool stuff to go see at Musikfest. Lots of local performers you can check out. Yeah, and I'm not sure yet. I don't know yet what I'm going to be doing here in this space next week, but the plan is that I will be back here at 12:30 in the afternoon on the following Tuesday, so I hope that you are able to join me then, or that you're able to watch the replay whenever it fits into your schedule. That is also totally cool. Until that time, my name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Please take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I will see you then.